When I applied to the Federal Reserve Bank, it was, we want to start UX, I don't know how. We need a UX guy. A UX guy will come in here and fix it all, right? And when I came into the bank, I was overwhelmed by all the applications that needed our help. And so I quickly began to assess the needs of the bank, and I told our management team at the time that we need to approach this a little bit differently. So we said that, no, it's not a UX person that you need. It's not a unicorn that you need. What you need is a team of people, right? You need to kind of diversify all these people, because I was getting burned out. I can't scale and context switch all those different things effectively and still have a good product. And so what we did, we decided to invest in these three core disciplines: user research, user design, and UI development. And so right now I have a team where I have all three of these disciplines all in one team. And as we develop this, now we have this baseline structure here, and we have multiple levels. So as new people onboard to the team from other industries or other places in the bank, they can now see themselves making a career within the Federal Reserve Bank in UX. And then as it evolves over time, we begin to create senior positions for that. And so now we have a job family working with HR and other management. We can create user experience architects, and we can create a management track for UX. Again, giving people the ability to see a path forward in UX, a career in UX. And so how does this work? How does this scale? So now that I have this team, and the way our team is structured within the bank, we're kind of a matrix team, right? So we have our own team room, we kind of have our own space, and we all kind of collaborate together. But then we're an agency model, and so I will send my people out to work on various project or business lines within the bank. And so these are the four main business lines I support: customer relations and support office, public affairs, the treasury, and supervision and regulation. And so if you think about it, you can almost think about the UX team as a standalone agency, and those four business lines as a standalone business. They all have their own strategy. They have their own development teams. They have their own project managers. They have their own enclosed resources. The one thing they don't have is designers. And so I offset that need to them, and I send them designers as they need it, according to their project strategy or what have you. So I know a lot of you have seen something like this, right? There's a slew of UX activities that any one of us in this room or anybody from our teams at home, they can do these things, right? And so we needed an easy way to kind of codify all of these things, right? Because when you say, I do UX, well, what does that mean, right? A lot of people think that, you just make blue buttons, making buttons bluer, making things prettier, right? But we wanted to break it up even deeper. And we wanted to be able to say, these are the deliverables of our job family, of the UX team. Just like you would any other discipline in any one of your organization. These are the things that you do on the project. But when we did this, we found it hard to onboard different teams and to still be able to impact like this enterprise software process model. So the thing that really helped us kind of take the things that we know and love to do, some of the activities that we've been talking about all day, the thing that kind of helped us scale this at the enterprise level is when I met with we have a team at the bank, and we put together a framework of project process guidelines. So for every discipline within the bank, whether it's business, you may be doing business case justification, you may be doing info security, you may be doing a business case analysis, you may be doing project development. We even have a slide for the waterfall process versus the agile process, right? And so we put all these things into one huge framework, and then we codified that by saying, no matter what you're doing, no matter what discipline you are at the bank, if you are doing a project, you have 5 stages. So that's the 5 stages that you see at the top. And with that, I was able to work with the team to say, there's something missing. You're missing a swim lane for the user. You're missing a lane for the UX team. And I was able to take those activities that you saw before and align them where I felt it was more appropriate to do those activities, giving the framework that you're already using. A lot of the issues that we had up front was you bring in a UX guy and you put him at the end of the project. And then you're upset when the UX guy comes in and tells you that, hey, you did this wrong and maybe you should put this over here, but it's too late. The concrete is already laid. So for us to be able to kind of move the strategy left and to do more research up front, it allows us to align everything that we do, all of our deliverables, into a guideline that you already have. And even when you call us to do a particular project, we can say, where are you in the process? Oh, well, we're in kind of stage 3 of the overall process that we have lined out. And we can look at stage 3 and we can say, okay, well, you're at a critical point right now. It may be too late for us to go back and do traditional research that we would like to do. But what we can do, maybe we can onboard one of our UI designers and get in there and see if we can get some quick wins, and we can help you get this release out. And when we do that, what we do is we build that trust with that business owner. So when the next release comes, they're more mindful, they're thinking more strategically, and we can come in at the beginning of the next release or the next project life cycle at stage 1 and do a more thorough analysis, UX analysis on that particular process. And so this framework also, or this picture here, this also gives me another way to kind of justify the way our system is set up. I actually pulled this image from a book called The Other Side of Innovation, where everybody, innovation is that word that everybody likes to throw around, and everybody wants to be innovative. But what this particular book talks about, the other side of innovation, the reason why companies like Apple are innovative is because they have a process in place, right? Innovation is the byproduct of a well-defined process. And so grabbing from this book, I was able to depict how I envision the UX team working within the different business lines. When you have a development team that's dedicated to a particular project, that development team, they're almost like a process engine. And so when they are running through their project, they don't want to talk about, let's run through iterations. They just want to get code cranked out. But the UX team, the business line as a whole, needs that innovation, and so that's what they're there to do. And so to wrap things up, unfortunately, like I mentioned before, the nature of my job, I can't really show a lot of the work that I do, but I do want to kind of give this testimony. So this particular testimony is dear to me because this is a project, we've been working on this project for 2 years. And this is the testimony that he gave. But that wasn't his testimony when he first started. The testimony I first got was, UX better not run my project, all right? But at the end of the day, he's using words like the tool remembers, and it just, it anticipates what you need, and that's because we did it right the first way. We worked with them for 2 years, and we sat down with the user before we drew anything to build that empathy and to understand what the users are doing. And then another project, and this is one of the projects I get to show. This is a particular application, a money museum. We have a money museum in our bank, and so we built a scavenger hunt app for the game, and we did it in a Who Wants to Be a Millionaire kind of style, right? And prior to doing this iOS game, the scavenger hunt was a clipboard. People would come in off the street and you get a pen and a clipboard to do a scavenger hunt. So we made this interactive tool. We brought in kids to actually come and play it. We learned a lot. We saw a lot of different trends and habits from that, but it was just a byproduct of us doing the process right from beginning to end. And the end result was a tool that increased the traffic for the Money Museum, and now we're doing more applications like that. So